Good evening, everyone. It is 4:55 p.m. Start our meeting 5 minutes early here on January the 18th for the Municipal Planning Commission for the City of Macomb. And I will call the meeting to order. Everybody's got the agenda before you. Get a motion, please.
Move to accept the agenda as presented.
Thank you. All those in favor? Very good. And with respect to the minutes from early in December on the 7th, any adjustments required on those? Member Gullickson?
Thank you, Chair Creasy. I'll move the minutes as presented. I didn't see any changes needed.
Thank you. Anyone else? All those in favor? Very good. So we do have one development permit application before us this evening. Item 4.1, a side yard setback variance for an accessory building on 24 Erica Drive. Development Officer Kirk, do you care to walk us through this item, please?
Thank you, Chair Creasy. So yeah, the item in front of you today is for a side yard setback variance on an accessory building. The applicant has applied for development permit for an accessory building, 9.86 meters squared lean-to shed with a 0.33 meter 37 side yard setback variance. The property is zoned R1 residential detached district, which provides an area with detached dwellings and compatible uses, and administration does not support the application. So MPC's decision tonight is for a 0.33 meter 37% side yard setback variance. The land use bylaw requires that accessory buildings be set back 0.90 meters from side property lines. The applicant is requesting approval to locate the accessory building 0.57 meters from the north property line. So neighboring consultations were sent out to landowners within 60 meters of the subject site. Administration received 4 letters of opposition. The full comments are provided on pages 11 through 15 of the agenda package and have been summarized here, as well as a comment from administration. So some of the concerns include that the changes are minor and still require a variance that shouldn't be approved due to reasons relating to safety, drainage, maintenance access, and repair of the existing residence. Even with the newly requested setback, the slope of the roof in proximity to the adjacent public walkway will result in rain, snow, and ice to accumulate on the pavement and may cause liability issues for the city. The structure is poorly designed, visually displeasing, and appears to be an addition onto the main residence rather than a lean-to shed. It affects the character of the neighborhood and the value of the surrounding residences. Lots in the area are large enough to store sheds in the rear yards, or construct storage sheds, sorry. And the landowner advised that the purpose of the lean-to shed is to store excess medical equipment for his business. It is a residential area, and therefore commercial equipment should be stored in a commercial area. And a possible alternative may be to rent a storage unit. So administration's comment is that we do not support the application. Another concern is that the structure is still not in accordance with the land use bylaw and is too close to the property line. So the applicant is requesting a variance to be located too close to the property line. Any variance over 15% requires consideration from MPC. Another concern is that the bylaws are there for a reason. The size and location of the building should have had approval prior to construction. It appears to be a case of easier to ask for forgiveness rather than permission. Administration's comment is that permits are required prior to constructing any structure that is 10 meters squared or larger. Another concern is that with the size and location of the building, is there going to be a certified plan drawing or any sort of a visual impact assessment? So it's not common practice to require a visual impact assessment for an accessory building. However, if MPC approves it, you do have the right to oppose this condition. And another one is that there are concerns regarding proper permits for electrical services due to the proximity of the neighboring homes in the event of a fire. And administration's comment is that if it's approved, the landowner will be required to get an electrical permit, which includes an inspection from a certified electrical safety codes officer. So as you may recall, on November 16th of last year, MPC refused the applicant's request for a 0 meter 100% side yard setback variance on a 16.94 meters squared accessory building. The applicant has applied for an amended development permit, where he proposes to locate the structure 0.57 meters from the north property boundary, reduce the size from 16.94 meters squared to 9.86 meters squared, and cut back the front so it's offset 1.22 meters from the front of the house. If it's approved, it will look similar to what is existing. However, the size will be reduced and it will be cut back. So the sections of the land use bylaw that apply to MPC today include section 4.87. The Municipal Planning Commission may grant a variance from the requirements of this bylaw, subject to being satisfied that the variance will not result in a development that does not comply with the requirements of the Municipal Government Act, the Subdivision and Development Regulation, the Safety Codes Act, or any applicable statutory plans or outline plans adopted by the municipality, as well as section 4.7.3, where you can approve the variance as long as you feel that it won't unduly interfere with the amenities of the neighborhood and materially interfere with or affect the use, enjoyment, or value of neighboring parcels. If the application is approved today, the applicant is required to obtain a building permit, and that will ensure that it is in compliance with the National Building Code. So some of the things that he'll have to do to bring it into compliance is to remove the window in the north wall, use non-combustible cladding or exterior drywall dense glass sheathing under the vinyl siding, and have a 45-minute fire rating by using Type X gypsum board on the interior of the structure. So the purpose of a variance is to provide discretion to a development authority when a development is unable to comply with the regulations of the land use bylaw due to unique hardship on the land, such as an oddly shaped lot, a difference in slope grade, a body of water, etc. Variances recognize that not all properties are the same and that in some cases a development may not be able to happen without a variance. The analysis is that, sorry, need a drink of water. So the applicant has stated in their letter of intent that the purpose of the accessory building is to store business-related items for the rehabilitation business. These will be small purchase items, and that the reason for the variance is because there's not enough room left in the rear yard for an accessory building. So administration has visited the property to obtain the pictures in front of you today and reviewed the application against the land use bylaw. And we were unable to find any unique hardships on the land that warrant the need for a variance, and feel that there is enough space in the rear of the yard for an accessory building of various sizes depending on the location that would comply with the land use bylaw. So administration does not support the application and recommends that MPC refuse it for the reasons stated on the screen, as well as page 10 of your agenda package.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Mr. Venkata, I feel awkward calling you that. Would you prefer I refer to you as Pubby or Mr. Venkata? Very good. Sounds good. Thank you. So as a proponent, I would like to give you the opportunity to be able to speak. I also understand that you have an individual that wishes to speak that did not submit any paperwork for inclusion in this package. And given it's only one, I'm inclined to provide that opportunity. So if you would like her to speak first, or yourself, whichever, the floor is yours.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity, and good evening, guys. So like administration said, the reason I just built this shed to store some of my small rehab tools, as well as some of the yard items as well inside the accessory building. And I just, given the chance to build at the back of my yard, but I thought it is not enough space for the kids to move around. I mean, I thought that's the one space where I can able to, make a shed and I mean, that's one of the reasons why I just went with that. But when I went with the shed, I think it's my fault that I didn't check the bylaws. I mean, I probably would have known that, I would have been stick to that. But when the contractor built that one, he said, as long as you built on the skids, you should be okay. That's one of the reasons why I just went with that. So I went 16.90, but once the application has been refused, then I realized I made a mistake. So I just come up with 9.81 square meters, requesting to grant the permission. However, if I go with a 0.9 meters variance, so I end up having 1.7 feet length from the wall. So technically, I cannot store anything in that. So that's one of the reasons why I'm here today, to request you guys to accept that. And I'm going to stick to the guidelines, I mean, with the codes and fire codes and other electrical codes and all those stuff. I'm going to stick to those guidelines. So yeah, I just request you to grant the permission to build that storage shed.
Very good, thank you. And would you like an opportunity to speak as well?
My name is Tara Schimpf and I live at 31 Erica Drive, and I just wanted to say that I do not oppose hubby's shed at the side yard. I don't know all the circumstances of everything that's been going on, but I do not oppose the shed being there.
Thank you,
Thank you.
appreciate that. Any questions from any of the members? Questions or concerns? Member Gullickson?
Thank you, Chair Creasy. I have a real concern with this in the sense that, I mean, it doesn't meet the new build. It's not something that should have ever happened along that side. I think there's enough room in the back. I know I would like to build a garage in my backyard, but I can't because there's not enough room, and I know that. And so I think that should have been something that was looked into prior to building any sheds there, and make sure that you meet all the guidelines. So I can't support this.
Yeah, I think there's been some positive changes on the second application. As has been previously went over by our development officer, there's still some shortcomings with it, but I am far more apt to be in favor of this particular application than the previous one, put it that way. I'm just wondering at what point the amount of area that you're left to work with, does it become financially unfeasible to adjust it to? I completely agree with you. The setback that was required does not leave enough room there for a shed, but the overall size of it now does not make for a particularly convenient workable space, which is unfortunate, but that is the reality of the space that's available there. Anyone else? Member Nauchin?
I have concerns with the overall build just visually, from the construction aspect of it. Even I see techniques that lean towards it not being the best built structure as well. And with making adjustments, like the financial side of it, and I mean that doesn't play into our decision at all. Like, your money is your money, but it just does not seem feasible to me. I truly do believe that a structure like this is taking away from the neighborhood, and when you have that many people opposed within that 60 meter range, that's a really big sign of how the neighborhood feels about it. And it's really hard for me to look at the positives in a situation like this and go against that. I mean, if this were in my neighborhood and I had those feelings, I would want those strongly considered at this meeting as well. So that's my 2 cents on it.
Anyone else? If not, we should have some sort of a motion for consideration. Member Gullickson?
Thank you, Chair Creasy. I'll move that the Municipal Planning Commission refuse the development permit for the accessory building 9.86 meters squared lean-to shed with a 0.33 meter side yard setback on the land zoned R1 residential detached district located at 24 Erica Drive, legally described as Lot 6, Block 13, Plan 0728801 for the following reasons. Do you want those read or no? Doesn't matter.
That's up to you as the mover.
Okay. One, lack of compelling planning rationale provided as to why it would be difficult to comply with the land use bylaw. And two, there are no prohibiting factors with the property, i.e. grade changes, unique shape, which prevent the accessory building from being located in accordance with the land use bylaw.
Thank you. Everybody's,
So I have a question. There is a one, I think it's approved, which is in 5 Ebony Crescent. Um, I'm not sure what are the technical aspects of that. I'm not sure whether it's similar, but it's they requested at the beginning 0.42 meters in the application, but I think the council went with 0.48 meters. I'm not sure if it's the same.
that was an item that you had referred to in the letter that was included in the package, was it? Just so we're offering it. That was I see an item here. I recall reading it 3/4 of the way down. Present an application for a 0.42 meter, which is a 47%, we're going to call it side yard setback variance to an accessory building 16 by 24 oversized shed located at 5 Emily Crescent.
Mhm.
Okay. After the discussion, the motion was moved by Councillor and the Municipal Planning Commission approved the development permit for this oversized accessory building. I have no reason to doubt that is the way that it went, and I'm getting some nods that suggest that is. I'm not 100% sure of the relevance of that particular item in this case. However, other than that the setback is similar, I think probably the largest difference, if I'm thinking of the correct project here, is this was a self-contained structure on skids, not attached to a primary residence. Is that correct?
Yes, Chair Creasy, that's correct. It was an accessory building, a small garage used for storage at 5 Emily Crescent, where they were asking for a similar variance request to the side yard. And it is all in regards to the merits of each application on their individual basis, the context of the neighborhood, the opposition from the neighbors, and all of those items have to do with why one application is approved versus not approved for a different application.
And while I appreciate the question of with that particular number seeming similar, that is the single thing that I can recall that was different. However, to suggest that that was the only item that played into the decision of each and every individual on the commission, I cannot say that at all. But that is the one significant factor that I can see that would have been of some influence. Okay. Right. So, any other questions or concerns? We do have a motion before us, I think similar to what was the back of your package. All those in favor? 3, obviously, in favor of the motion as read, and 1 opposed. Not the outcome that the proponent was hoping for, I expect. However, that is the decision of the Municipal Planning Commission. And certainly, I expect you will be in contact with the Planning Commission, I'm sorry, the Planning Department, and they can advise you as to either next steps or options open to you to pursue however you see fit.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Bobby. And then Senior Development Officer McLaughlin. The summary looks a little condensed here, but there is one item on the approved items. If you'd care to go through it, please.
Thank you, Chair Creasy. We do just have one discretionary application that was approved by the development officer, with it being Christmas and just a little bit of a slow time of year. We did approve the discretionary use of an accessory building, a storage garage at the Redeemer United Reformed Church at 4519 46th Avenue. The zoning of the property is community services, and accessory buildings in those districts are discretionary. We did do the 60-meter circulation and received no opposition to the proposal. So the application was approved and issued on December 12th. And that was the only one.
Thank you. And then there was a council request for information response to the trees along the Terrace Heights Drive near the airport. Letter there was, was there something within that letter you wanted to touch on?
Mayor Creasy, we just wanted to put the letter in your agenda package today. It was an item that was brought up at the Municipal Planning Commission at our last meeting for the flight school that was considered, and there was a question about the trees along Terrace Heights Drive. We had committed to MPC that we would look into those questions about the trees. So we did provide the request for information back to MPC as well as council. So if you wanted to make any kind of motion to be in the meeting minutes for council to consider, that's the reason that we put it in the agenda for you today.
Appreciate you following through on that. Is there anything that anyone wishes to move on that particular item, or for information only? Very good. So we have a possibility of a meeting on February the 1st for our next MPC meeting. Do we have any applications currently?
We do, yes. We will have one to present.
Very good. So you'll be sending out calendar notices for everyone then?
We don't typically do that, but yes, we can.
That was my play way of making a hint that you do so. It would sure be nice if we did. I think it would make things a little cleaner for
Yeah,
everyone.
I can definitely do that.
Tend to get fairly trained to use those. And I know it sure would be helpful because myself, I have messed up some dates in the past, and nice if we can have one so everybody's on the same meeting time.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful. I don't believe that we have anything else.
Mayor Creasy?
Yes.
Sorry, we just want to mention that for February 1st, it is anticipated to be a long meeting with quite a number of the public coming to speak. So we need to know that we'll have quorum and that you're available to stay for the full length of the meeting. Yes, it is. Yes. It'll be the Broomtree Foundation application. So we anticipate a longer meeting than our typical MPC meeting times.
I think that's very likely. So yeah, I think that would be a good idea if we put something together previous. Yeah, and we can send out a notification of that. We have one member that's not here currently, so once again, just for clarification, everyone, that would be great. Thank you. Anything else? You would wait for a motion then.
Move to adjourn.
Wonderful. It is 5:20. Motion for adjournment. All those in favor? Thanks, everyone.